Thank you very much, Stuart, for that warm introduction, and thanks to Vertical Events for having us present here today. So, we are INOVIQ. What do? We're developing next-generation exosome-based diagnostics and therapeutics for cancer. We have a basically patented exosome technology platform that has multiple applications across research tools, diagnostics and therapeutics. So clearly we are not a one-trick pony, and that actually enables us to have multiple value-adding events over the next 12 to 24 months. Our exosome research tools are actually commercially available through our distribution partner Promega Corporation in the US, and they are distributing that product globally. We have a number of different assets in development. They include 2 clinical stage diagnostics for breast and ovarian cancers, with our ovarian cancer asset being our most important asset that we're currently taking forward. And we have a preclinical stage program for exosome therapeutics in triple-negative breast cancer. Our focus right now is on partnering our ovarian cancer screening test in order to launch that initially as a laboratory-developed test in the United States, and then wider as an IVD in the US, Europe and the Asia Pacific, so including Australia. We have a very experienced leadership team, so including the management and board, that's backed by a world-class advisory board. They have experience across exosome science, diagnostics, cell therapy and commercialisation. The company's code is INOVIQ. We've currently got about 6.5 million to advance particularly our exosome ovarian cancer program and our therapeutic program into preclinical stage. So, as I said, we're an exosome company. What does that actually mean, and why are we in exosomes? Exosomes are released by all cells in the body. Exosomes are actually called extracellular vesicles. They're a very small cell. They're about 10 to the minus 9th in size, so they're very, very tiny. Essentially, they carry information from the parent cell to other cells, and they interact with those cells and transfer that information to change the cell's behaviour. Essentially, we utilise our proprietary technology platform to harness these properties, and that has actually enabled us to develop next-generation diagnostics that's based on the information inside the exosomes, or therapeutic that uses the biomolecules in those exosomes to target and kill cancer. So, in terms of the pillars that are driving growth and value across our business, it's really based on our exosome technology platform. That platform technology itself is actually the embedded value in each of our products across our research tools, diagnostics and therapeutics. People often ask, how do we make money out of our exosome platform, and what is it? Well, it's actually the products that we're developing based on that exosome technology. So our research tools are essentially our technology-in-a-box solution for isolating exosomes. They actually underpin our own diagnostic, which is our exosome ovarian cancer screening test that's in development. And we're actually selling that test through a global distribution partner and making early revenues that we can actually then reinvest in our own diagnostics and therapeutic development. The diagnostics and therapeutic strategy, what we're really trying to do is harness the company's technology capabilities and expertise to develop integrated diagnostics and therapeutics for cancer. Our most advanced diagnostic, as I said, is our exosome, that's therapeutic, our exosome ovarian cancer test, and then we've got an early stage exosome program for treating triple-negative breast cancer. Given our ovarian cancer screening test, you can imagine that we do intend to expand that therapeutics pipeline into ovarian cancer therapeutics as well. Importantly, we're actually targeting what we would call a 10 times return on investment as we move from research tools to diagnostics to therapeutics based on the size of those global markets. And the examples that I've got there is that the ovarian cancer, for diagnostics, I'm just looking at ovarian cancer, but I need to stress this is a platform technology, so we can broaden this across multiple different cancer types and other diseases in actual fact. and therapeutics, I've just used the global breast cancer market as an example. So our pipeline, as I said, we're not a one-trick pony. We've got quite a broad pipeline, including assets already on the market and available commercially. We have our most advanced program is our exosome ovarian cancer program, which is what I'm going to focus on today, and our exosome therapeutic program. So ovarian cancer, it is the deadliest gynecological cancer. And the reason that it's the deadliest cancer is that the majority of women, over 70%, are actually diagnosed at a late stage after symptoms have appeared, and then they've got a very, very poor prognosis. Now, this is because there's no screening tests available for ovarian cancer. And that's what we're developing, is a screening test to detect ovarian cancer in asymptomatic women, which is stages 1 and 2, before the symptoms have appeared. And this can massively increase survival from around 30% at stage 3 to over 90% if we're detecting at stage 1. And that's what our results will show you. Essentially, as I said, we're targeting the asymptomatic population. This is the same population where you're screening mammograms for breast cancer. That's a very, very large market. Women 45 to 74 years of age in the 9 major markets. We're looking at over 438 million patients in these 9 markets. If, for example, we screen those, well, 60% of those patients actually participate in screening, which is about the normal number in these markets, then we're looking at 243 million that can actually be screened with our ovarian cancer test every second year. A very large market, and a product that means that we can save multiple women's lives. So our exosome ovarian cancer test has been developed in collaboration with the University of Queensland. This has been a project that's been ongoing really for the last 4 to 5 years. Essentially, we utilise our proprietary exosome isolation technology, which is the product that's actually available on market for other companies to use, but most importantly is the front end of our ovarian cancer screening test. We combine that when we capture the exosomes with multiple exosomal, what we call microRNA biomarkers, and a well-known protein biomarker called CA125, into an AI-enhanced machine learning algorithm that enables us to detect ovarian cancer accurately and early. It's a fully automated test, it's compatible with clinical lab instrumentation and workflows, and there's a provisional patent application that's been filed around this breakthrough technology by the University of Queensland. Effectively, we completed what we call a retrospective case control study that we announced the results on in earlier this year. Essentially, we used over 500 samples to do this study. We actually looked at both protein and microRNA biomarkers. The most recent results that we announced was around using 6 microRNA biomarkers that we combined with CA125 in an algorithm. We designed this algorithm to detect early stage disease, because in asymptomatic women, which is the majority of women in the asymptomatic stage, i.e. not showing any symptoms of stage 1 and 2 ovarian cancer, so we wanted to detect the majority of stage 1 and 2 ovarian cancer. The graph here on the right, what that actually shows is we designed the algorithm, as I said, stage 1 and 2, which you can see up there, is basically we got 100% of disease was detected, which is obviously a phenomenal result. And we designed the algorithm so we tuned it to detect that stage 1 and 2 disease. We also, in the controls, which is the healthy patients and benign disease, we got 100% specificity, which means we didn't tell anyone who didn't have cancer that they do. Extremely important, so that means we got 0 false positives in this particular case control study. So overall, we got 77% sensitivity for ovarian cancer, but most importantly, we got 100% of stage 1 and 2 ovarian cancer, meaning we're not missing any of that early stage disease. In terms of the next steps for this test, we've got a 2,000 sample study that we're currently collecting the samples for. We expect that to start, in actual fact, very soon. And effectively that'll be focusing on disease specificity, so looking at other inflammatory-based diseases and cancers, and also we'll be looking at high-risk groups. Ultimately, we're looking to commercialise this test first as what we call a laboratory-developed test in the US. That will be through a laboratory partner, such as a Sonic Healthcare, for example, a LabCorp or a Quest. They'll have to conduct analytical and clinical validation studies in their lab, which will be a study, let's say up to 2,000 participants like we're about to perform ourselves, and show that they can get the same results in their lab that we get in our lab. And that will potentially enable them to then launch this as an LDT in the US next year, which is pretty damn exciting for us. So, sorry, I should say at the end of next year. So that's pretty exciting for us. So we're talking to a number of potential partners on that strategy at the moment. Importantly, ultimately, we will need to develop this test and get regulatory approval down the IVD pathway. We'll be seeking what's called breakthrough device designation. That essentially enables us to develop the test faster and get it to market faster as an IVD. That enables us to expand really our market acceptance, clinical adoption, and enable us really to commercialise this test globally. So we'll be looking to commercialise it in the US, Europe, and the Asia Pacific. So yes to all the ladies in the room, that includes Australia. I want to point out a recent in screening space, which shows how important diagnostics actually are. And that was Exact Sciences, which is a large diagnostics company, has recently licensed a colorectal cancer screening test from a company called Freenome. It was an $885 million licensing deal. This test is actually at the stage of getting US marketing approval, and that licensing deal is just for the US market. So that's a phenomenal deal, but that's the sort of deals that can be done in the diagnostic space for screening tests, and that's what we're focused on. I don't have too long to go here, so I'm just going to briefly say that we also have what we call a CAR exosome program, which is a next generation cell-free therapy for treating triple-negative breast cancer. Come and speak to us at the exhibitors hall about that program, because I won't have time to go into it today. Sufficient to say, for the company right now, we are positioned for growth. We are talking to partners about commercialising our exosome ovarian cancer test, as I said, first in the US and then eventually globally. We believe there's significant upside potential in our share price, with a number of very important milestones coming up. And if I'm looking at those milestones, the company, our clear focus has really been on establishing our exosome ovarian cancer test as a best-in-class screening test for ovarian cancer. This financial year, we achieved the results that I just showed you, which was overall 77% sensitivity for detection of ovarian cancer with no false positives, and importantly, 100% detection of early-stage disease. And our focus now is on partnering that test, commercialising it first as an LDT, and progressing our IVD development, which means we will need to do a prospective clinical study, which we expect to do with a partner. The other side that, just pointing out, that we are focusing on is obviously our CAR exosome program. So the CAR exosome program, again, we're looking to establish a first-in-class exosome therapeutic for treatment of solid tumours. That's been a focus. We have actually shown that our CAR exosomes kill 88% of triple-negative breast cancer, as well as non-small cell lung cancer cells in vitro. We have a collaboration with Peter Mac that we've established, and the focus now is on moving that program into in vivo studies, so that's animal studies, where we will be looking to show safety, efficacy, and biodistribution data. We expect to be able to announce some of that work by the end of this year. So we have an awful lot going on in the company, some fantastic milestones coming up, and we expect to be able to significantly improve shareholder value as a result of those programs and those milestones. Thank you very much. I'm just on time.